I would be remiss if I didn't start a championship weekend by congratulating the New York Knicks and anybody around the world, but specifically those also living in the New York metro area, on a well-deserved NBA championship. I was out there last night. Well, last night is the time of recording this. I was out there on Saturday night in the West Village. If you saw the clip of like Jon Stewart where he was out for the watch party, I was there but further back in the corner. Dude, just a time. And walking up and down Avenue of the Americas and 7th Avenue, just taking in the crowds and the sights and the sounds. Like, I know the news is going to show you one thing, but the reality was the overwhelming majority of it was just people celebrating and enjoying life, because that's what sports is supposed to be about. The lowest of lows bring you to the highest of highs, which is very relevant for our first topic of conversation, where Hanwha Life goes into MSI from the LCK as the 1 seed, putting up a very solid performance over T1 in the qualification series. No, there's not a final for Korea. It just goes straight into MSI itself. They don't want to crown the champion, because if you remember last year, it actually was the case where we got that LCK finals matchup at MSI, which made it incredibly hype. And the viewership reflected a very exciting split for the LCK. Look, I will continue to say, I know there's a lot of people that worry about like LCS viewership waning and beyond, and we don't have the specific breakout of like North American fans that are watching the LCK, but I'm telling you, the numbers that you are seeing from this region are driven off the back of many North American fans loving to watch this region. Like, and it's great because Gen G is not even going to MSI. They faltered. Hanwha Life are the kings of this region as of right now. They're the best in the regular season. They bounced back from 10th place in the BS format in the LCK Cup, which ruined their Golden Road chance. But at a minimum, dude, this squad's good. They're really good. And I mean, we knew on paper that they were going to be at the beginning of this year. That's why they invested so much time and money to get Zeus and to get Guma and surround the existing pieces that they have with these solid people from the, let's be honest, the T1 Dynasty roster that's helping propel them to a potential chance at the international stage. And I like their chances in this tournament. I said coming into this year that Hanwha Life was actually my prediction to win Worlds, and I think the squad is leveling up pretty early on, and they have a little bit of that magic sauce that it feels like towards the end of the year they might be able to get it done as well. But early on, I'm curious to see how they do in this event. They're my odds-on favorite going into it. I mean, how could you not? The only other squad that I think you would look at and say that, yeah, I'd probably put them up there, would actually be BLG, who, despite coming from the losers bracket, won split 2 of the LPL, which means that, yes, the Golden Road is still intact for them. They won split 1 of the LPL, went on to win first stand, which allowed both the teams from China to immediately go into the knockout stage of MSI, and then they win here. WE having whatever magic they had in the split, I don't know. Reference the LPL folks to explain how the hell that happened. Couldn't tell you. My life depended on it. But what I do love is the fact that we do have a Golden Road situation continuing here. It's something that I feel like has kind of fallen to the wayside since JDG had their fall off. Gen G was also notably close for a bit there, but this feels good, especially the win at first stand inspires a lot of confidence for the LPL going into this event, where you should walk into it and the two favorites are Hanwha Life and BLG. Without question, it should make this event incredibly exciting, especially as we get past the first few rounds in the play-in stage, which I'll touch on play-ins in a moment here. But the majority of this video will be talking about the various aspects of North America, of which we have to start with C9, the most talked about part of this. Like, even if you go to the Team Liquid versus Lion finals thread, you still saw so many more comments about C9. Like, it just goes to show that, like, there are more C9 fans out there, whether that's by proxy of Dom or the natural size of the C9 fan base being very large. Doesn't matter. They have a lot of fans and they dominate the conversation, which is why them getting eliminated 3-0 is a massive problem. And I know Jat was very quick to speak up on this. There have been others in the space that say, oh, they're not going to change. I've seen many C9 fans saying, oh, I'm looking forward to 2027. At least I got that to look forward to. I disagree. I think you have the summer split of this year to look forward to, because I don't think there's any world where C9 does not make changes. It has been too many times of the same mistakes, and the APA situation coming into the year, obviously a bit unfortunate with Loki, like, that wanting to go back to Korea, family issues and beyond. Like, APA came in and filled in, but I don't think he's the problem of this roster. The reality to me is that if you're going to have APA, he's a good facilitator, kind of like a Niski style player, but you need to have carry players around him. And Sven and Blabber are so far from that right now. When the moment comes that they need to step up, they are a fraction of themselves. Now, I think Thanatos gets some blame as well, but he's performed well enough in the regular season that he buys himself time. But let's not act like Thanatos doesn't also disappear in these big moments, but you just don't have anybody else to pick them up at all. And I know this is going to be like iffy to many because the reality is there's no good replacement necessarily for anybody on this roster. There's no way that you look at from tier 2 and immediately say, yeah, this is an upgrade. That makes this conversation a lot harder for folks. But you have to make a change. You do. And now's the time to do it. It's not like in the offseason you're going to be able to pick up some insane talent, or if you want to, fine, but like it's worth throwing the chance out there because I can promise you if the C9 squad stays as is, even with the boot camp over in Korea, they're going to get fisted in that boot camp by the Korean teams. They're going to come back. They might succeed in the regular season, but then they will do the same thing and choke in playoffs and probably not even make it as far because I think FlyQuest is leveling up very, very quickly. So yes, you got to make a change if you're Cloud9. You got to pull out the war chest. You got to take a chance on some North American rookies or somebody to give yourself any sort of firepower besides Thanatos on the squad because you've got nothing at the moment. It's enough to get you to playoffs. It is not going to be enough to get you to international events. That has been clear for 3 years now. You cannot keep repeating this. I don't want Cloud9 to just keep rolling over in these situations. It's getting too predictable at this point. And I feel bad punching on it. And I want to see changes. But the org has to be willing to pull the trigger on it. You cannot just be complacent with, oh, this might be enough to get us to go to Worlds. What, and then you lose in play-ins? No, absolutely not. It's time. It's time to either move on from Blabber or get somebody other than Sven and try something different with this roster. And I don't have the best answer for you. And I do want to tell people that are worried about that part of it, it's not your job to come up with the answer. It is Cloud9 general management. That's their responsibility. That's their whole job, is to put together a team on the Rift that makes you want to tune in, that is exciting, and go from there and builds a fandom. That's on them, not on you. Don't put that pressure on yourself or like write yourself off because you don't have the answer. If you want to ask for change, you should. And then put the pressure on them to deliver you something good. It's as simple as that. On the opposite side of things from this past weekend, Lion walk out as your LCS champions of spring. A 6-0 stretch between C9 and Team Liquid in the finals, which solidly puts this squad as the best in the region. And I would say everyone wants to talk shit on Dokla until it's time to actually beat Dokla. Inspired has now won 7 of 12 titles that he has been able to possibly win. Saint has leveled up massively and is a playmaker in lane that can simply win you lanes outright against players like Quid, which is awesome. And then you go to the bot lane and Berserker is just Berserker. Like, what else do you say about the man? Isles had one of the most insane plays I think we will see from this past weekend, other than the Jose Dioto steals. The Isles knockup on the Rakan, which stuffed and engaged, prevented a Team Liquid comeback, was just beautiful. Isles has leveled up so much. It's so fun to watch. And I just want people to put respect on this entire squad. Yes, at this point, it is feeling a bit like a one-man region as Inspired just runs over everybody with a bunch of different characters and a bunch of different players with him. But the reality is he does level up the people around him as well. And all of them deserve their flowers. I know I've been a very deep-rooted Dokla defender since day one. But if any of you try to come at me and tell me that he's shit whenever nobody in this region can even come close to him right now. He is Mr. Best of 5. He is Mr. Clutch. When you need somebody to be a rock in the top, he is him. I had people in my chat being like, oh, he's down 20 CS on Shen in game 1. And then immediately he has these impacts that flip the game. And they're like, wait, Dokla was amazing. And it's like, dude, he's been that the entire time. You were just way too overly critical. Give the man his flowers. His trophy case is building up very quickly at this point. Stop writing him off. He's incredible. We'll deal with international play when we get there for North American fans. That'll be the last point here in a minute. But don't let it yuck your yum, which is this Lion squad is amazing and is currently back-to-back champions, the heavy favorites to go for a third. And Castle is just left in limbo somewhere. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but good luck. The final thing we have to touch on is this insane playing group that is forming with T1, now the second seed from Korea, beating Gen G in a 5-game series, blocking Gen G from attending MSI for the first time in a long time. And it's good to see the bucking of the trend at the top. Unfortunately, even if T1 doesn't look great, because they did get smashed by Hanwha Life, and the win over Gen G, while thrilling, was a bit of a circus. That circus is still miles above everybody else that they will be playing in the play-in stage of MSI, where they will go against KC, the second seed out of the LCP, and Team Liquid from North America, which Team Liquid, coming into this, had they had a close series against Lion, I think more people would have been excited for this. And like, hey, maybe they stand a chance. But I have not. But obviously, getting smashed this past weekend on Sunday took the wind out of many people's sails. I get it. But the thing I would tell you is this. If you're going into an international event, just writing off a team being like, well, they're fucked, it is what it is, that's not going to give you a reason to watch. I know that's not your responsibility as a fan. It's on the teams, obviously, to put up like something that works. But I'm just saying in terms of like what you can expect from me. If you come in here expecting me to say anything other than, yeah, I genuinely do believe that if TL gets their shit together and levels up accordingly, that they can take a series off of T1, yeah, I'm going to believe that until the final Nexus falls. That's faith in our region. That's North American pride. You got to learn to embrace that just a little bit in these situations. We are going against odds that are never going to be in our favor. And you know what? You'll enjoy the upset when it happens if you just live in the moment a little bit and have a little bit of faith. Don't come out here and doubt everything. And then when it finally does happen one day, be like, oh my God. No, then that's what causes people to write it off. If anything, if you need something to latch onto, listen to Spawn's words when asked about a potential matchup against K-Corp in that same play-in stage. A series that could ultimately be meaningless because T1 is likely going to get out, but it's still entertaining and fun one nevertheless.
Because one other team is KC. So Europe, are we going to beat EU? Well, let's forget about T1 for a moment. Can TL beat EU and beat KC?
I mean, I've never lost to Europe, so like that's just facts. We beat KC last time we played them. Like, I don't see why it would be different this time. Fnatic got towed a couple of times when we played them as well. Haven't had the honor of G2, but maybe if we make the main stage, that'll be there. So, we love playing Europe. It's a lot of friendly rivalry. I actually think KC is a really good team at the moment, so we won't sleep on them. But, I haven't lost to Europe once, so I don't know why I'd start now.
That's what I'm freaking talking about. That builds rivalry, even in a situation where it might not technically matter. That's entertainment, and that's what we live for in this industry. I want to say a thank you to everybody who tuned in to these videos across the spring split. Obviously, I'm going to keep doing these headline videos on Monday of each week. They are a ton of fun, and I'm actually going to do next week I don't want to overreact, and get some of your community takes and react to all of them. The tweet will be live on Twitter as of the time of you watching this video. So get your takes up there on Twitter. It's the easiest spot for me to rip them, because understandably, the conversation in the comments here will be mostly about this particular video, not the takes. That I consolidate to Twitter. But all of your support has genuinely been fantastic. It's been fun making these. It's been fun having the conversations. It's been fun co-streaming and beyond. So thank you to everybody that's watched. We got a packed schedule ahead with MSI coming up. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you all are as well. We're just getting started on this side. And if you haven't done so, be sure to drop a sub on the channel and drop a like down below. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers by the time this year ends. Hope to get there. Thank you very much, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.